Finally, it's been a long wait. A new generation of one of Audi's most important performance models in the history of the brand is here. It doesn't wear the same name, which may confuse many, but can it wear the weight of expectations that rest on its shoulders? This is the brand new 2026 Audi RS5 Sedan and RS5 Avant. It's Audi's first plug-in hybrid RS model ever. It's pushing way more power than its predecessor. And it's the first proper brand new RS model in 4 years, and those years haven't been the easiest for the brand. So the moment of truth is here. Can they fight back? Truly, this is actually a 5th generation Audi RS4 that you see in front of you, because Audi decided to merge the A4 and A5 to one model name, the A5. No coupe, no sportback, and no drop top for this time. Confusing, yes, a lot. But can this sedan and Avant knock our socks off? And did it knock mine off when I saw it? Well, let me present this new RS5 for you. So, let us do this. Welcome to Auditography. I have been a photo and videographer for the brand for over 20 years. I am a collector of some very unique 4-ringed icons myself, and I have also made the viral movie Speak Up for Audi. That led me to even meet the CEO, and many people high up in the company are my friends. The 4 rings is my lifestyle. Join me here in this new emotional video. Before we dive deep on this new RS5, let's do a quick history recap. The Audi RS4, which is the true predecessor of this car, is one of Audi's most iconic models. I know very well what I'm talking about, as I have 3 generation RS4s in my collection. The icon has been around since 1999, when the majestic B5 RS4 Avant dropped. The B7 RS4, another icon available in sedan, Avant and Cabriolet, was released in 2006. The 3rd generation was the B8 from 2012 to 2015, and the 4th generation, named B9, came out in 2018. The Audi RS5, on the other hand, in general has always been seen as coupe, sportback, and also cabriolet. The RS5 came out in 2010 as the 1st generation called B8 and continued as B9 in 2018. And now, in 2026, it's time for this B10 generation RS5 to be presented. So, this new RS5 is getting a significant power increase to 639 horses. That's quite much more than the 450 it had for almost 15 years. Except the 25th edition RS4, which had 470 horses. This B10 RS5 is Audi's first ever Audi RS to feature a modular electrified powertrain, mixing the twin-turbo 2.9-liter V6 with 470 kW with an electric motor with 130 kW as well. The total system output is, as I said, 639 horses and 825 Nm of torque. That is connected to a hybridized 8-speed automatic gearbox. That results in an acceleration time to 100 km/h in 3.6 seconds. You might think that, wow, it has almost 200 horses more than the predecessor and an almost identical acceleration time? That, my friends, is because of the weight. This RS5 weighs in on a whopping 2.3 tons. That is a full large grand piano or a full-grown black bear heavier than the outgoing B9.5 RS5 competition. Let that sink in for a moment. Yes, I know that acceleration is so easy accessible today, and the more important factor is how the car handles and makes you feel during this acceleration. But still, it makes you wonder why new cars have to be so heavy. I mean, the new RS5 Avant is 700 kilos heavier than the B5 RS4 Avant. Madness. The optional top speed is 285 km/h if you choose the Audi Sport package. This new RS5 is also equipped with a world first in a production model quattro drivetrain with dynamic torque control in the rear transaxle. Audi says it brings handling to a new level. Also, bear in mind, this is a real quattro system and not the ridiculous quattro ultra of late. Thank God for that. This completely new feature combines the actuator, overdrive gears, and a differential to intelligently transfer torque between the rear wheels. The bespoke RS Sport suspension with twin-valve shock absorbers is also newly developed. The battery cells of the RS5 are integrated in beneath the trunk floor. We will see about how all of this new tech works when I drive the car for the first time later this year. Now, let's talk about how the new RS5 family looks. Immediately when there was a briefing before I actually saw the car, I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw the classic RS5 logo with the good old magical font on the screen. Gone is the tasteless and emotionless new font that nobody liked. This is huge that Audi listened to the criticism and reverted back to what made them great. I was so happy about this that I shed a few tears. Unfortunately, the same good news is not at the front. For the first time in the history of an RS4 or 5, which is over 25 years, there is no full model definition in the front badge. I was of course happy that the classic font is back, but extremely critical that the front badge looks like this. This is actually nothing short of embarrassing. Then, the first thing that you notice is how extremely wide the new RS5 is. I told the engineers on site that this is pretty much the widest RS model I've seen to date. It's a massive 9 centimeters wider than the base A5, which is pretty crazy, and I love it. The new rear diffuser is massive and pretty good looking if you ask me. What you immediately notice is the placement of the huge exhaust. They sit more narrow for the first time in an Audi RS model. But remember, the original TT had that placement as well. When I asked on site what the reason for this design was, the engineers answered that it was complicated to fit all the new components as well as a tow bar that so many RS Avant customers want. This was the only way they could do it. The front grille and intakes are enormous. What is also noticeable is the amount of plastic in the front. By the way, am I the only one that wishes that the pattern of the side grille intakes should be in the main grille, just like the classic mesh pattern? And what is up with the placement of the Audi rings? Now it looks exactly like the A6, which is already very similar to the A5 from the front. The logo is placed in no man's land, so the car looks like it has a pimple or a small mustache. It looks way off being like that. I can't count how many times I've heard that from Audi fans, owners and enthusiasts. The A5 S5 look much better with the rings placed normally. Here is a question I have for you, Audi. Has anybody ever complained about the placement of the Audi logos in the grills? Why change something that has always been working and nobody ever complained about? And what is also quite strange is that now you cannot even order this car with the classic brushed aluminum optics. That, my friends, is unbelievable. Audi say that the majority of their customers want black optics. I stood up and said out loudly immediately, I concur. I feel that more and more people are tired of the black hole in the grille and want the classic contrast. At least, give the customer an option. You can see in their latest Concept C that the attention to the details and classic Audi badges returned. So personally, it's a big disappointment to still see these plastic fantastic badges on an overall beautiful car exterior-wise as this. The smallest details matter. The headlights here on the RS5 are darkened to give it a more aggressive look. The DRLs are formed in a checker flag, and so is the rear extra brake light. That is a pretty cool touch. The wheel design is something Audi never fail on. These 21-inch beauties on ceramic brakes are meaty and potent. They look so good on this wide-body RS5, and you can also get 20-inch if you prefer that. On this RS5 sedan, you can see the forged carbon parts, and I personally think it's awesome. We haven't seen a proper Audi RS sedan model since the B7, so it's amazing that it is back. It's just a shame that it wears the wrong name though. Speaking of the name, let's get it all out there. The decision of having the even numbers electric and the uneven internal combustion was a decision that was destined to fail from the beginning. The new CEO, Gernot Döllner, stepped up and saved the iconic RS6 from being called RS7 Avant in the last moment as he forced the A6 name instead of the planned A7. Unfortunately, it was already too late for the 5. The A5 and S5 were already out, so naming this the RS4 would not fit at all. So now we have to live with the fact that one of the most iconic Audi model names, the RS4, goes to the grave after 25 years. As an owner of 3 generations RS4 myself in my collection, I am heartbroken that this was allowed to happen. Which of these two do you prefer, the sedan or the Avant? Let me know in the comments. By the way, for my American viewers, I already asked on location, is the RS5 Avant coming to the States? I got a reply as no, because Audi of America doesn't see the demand. I am sorry for you guys, and I can't believe that since wherever I go, North America always screams for the Avants. Not every person can afford an RS6 Avant, so a more affordable RS was always highly demanded. This twin-turbo V6 engine doesn't sound bad at all, especially in cold start. It's actually promising and I'm looking forward to drive it. For now, let's start it up and rev it up properly and hear the orchestra. Hold on, what's this? Here we go again. Yes, I know what you are directly thinking, and so was I. Why oh why do we still have to suffer with the annoying soft limiter at 4000 RPM? It's been addressed so much by Audi owners. At least the previous RS4 and 5 competition had it at 5000, and Audi promised they will raise the soft limiters higher to awaken emotion again. There was hope. The M3 revs all the way up to the top, so it's not about that Audi can't, it's about they choose not to. They still castrate their lovely RS cars with these soulless soft limiters. I am speechless. Now onto the most controversial part of this car, and it's the interior. After seeing the iconic badge font return on the outside, it showed clearly that if you really want something, you can do it. So I was hopeful for more acknowledgement of criticism of the interior and some changes there as well. I was hoping for a new steering wheel design as an option of choice for the customer, especially the airbag cover with the logo. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. I don't understand why Audi keeps forcing this atrocity of design on people. So many are complaining about this and it feels like they're screaming in thin air. Give the people options because that's the least we can ask for. The Concept C steering wheel is beautiful, so why not at least implement some quality details from it? Just a feeling of the Audi rings with more quality material would make such a huge difference. The haptic touch buttons have at least a scroll wheel now. That's a small leap forward. The next one is to completely bring back the proper physical buttons on here like the previous ones that were pure perfection. I was hoping for a real gear shifter and not the nibbler. At least something similar to the so loved B9 generation. That didn't happen either. I was hoping for less piano black material to stop all these reflection and fingerprints. Nope, that's still there. No option for any other material either. I was hoping for physical buttons for the AC controls. Still not there. You still have to lose focus when you drive, reaching for the screen. I was hoping for the return of the Quattro badge on the passenger side, just as it has been there for decades. Nope, that's still not there. Although just a little RS badge shining on the screen. Was it that difficult to program the Quattro logo in there? I was hoping for some more customizable instrument cluster with proper Audi DNA. Well, the user interface is new, but to me this doesn't look like an Audi cluster at all. It lacks any Audi-ish feeling. Yes, it's better than the criticized ones in the base A5, A6, Q5 and Q6, but this version here doesn't fix that either. I mean, how hard is it to design different versions of a cluster look for the customer to choose from, just like in their previous so loved systems? Listen, the middle MMI screen interface does look better, but the virtual cockpit is still a mess. In this, you can't even have two proper classic gauges of torque and speed. Why? Good question. The material quality is better, you feel it without a doubt. The seats are nice and grippy, although the plastic RS badge in the seats just feels so cheap. Again, how hard was it to put in a full model definition there, Audi? It's a constant reminder that the small, so-loved details by the average customer are not there. This brand new B10 generation Audi RS5 is an overall beautiful looking car outside. It shows real Quattro heritage from some aspects. It's beefy and a proper RS. It has so much potential. I have a lot of respect for the engineers that worked on the base of the A5, which has received so much criticism for being too plastic and cheap. And they were given that to work with. So with the torque vectoring, wide body, suspension and power upgrades, they made it a lot better. Hopefully it drives really well despite its weight. But the biggest problem is it shoots itself in its own foot, falling on those smallest details. Audi has always been about the attention to details, history and heritage. Things are moving in a better direction, though very slowly. I truly hope that the customer will have more options to choose from and customize with near in the future updates. And I'm also very sure that in a facelift it will do better on those small details. The customers want that. The question is Audi really listening? These small changes could make such a huge improvement and impact. Let's hope they do listen and act. Maybe also with a facelift we can change back to the normal name of the car. I think we are currently in an extremely critical time at Audi, so if they don't listen now, it might be soon too late. Overall, we have to be happy about this new RS5. Cause in the world of more and more soulless cars, we need cars like this to awaken hope and emotion in an automotive world again. Thank you for watching.